Hi everyone, in this lecture we are going to retouch this image and we are going to give it a look something like this. Okay, so this is basically a sunset or sunrise look which we can give very easily in Adobe Lightroom. So if there would be need, we'll take it even in the Photoshop, but I would try to retouch this image entirely in Adobe Lightroom. So let's get started. So first of all, we need to be in the develop module, which you can see over here. By pressing D, you can have the access to develop module in Adobe Lightroom. And over here, first of all, I would go for the auto option, which is over here, and auto does most of the work for me. So if I just press auto, you can see now it has fixed the highlights, even have fixed all these contrasts, shadows, white balance, blacks, and all these things. So it basically does some automatic calculations and does adjust all these sliders. So now we need to adjust them according to our own liking. So as far as the shadow is concerned, is just fine, but I don't want it to be that dark. So let me just try to double click it to bring it back to its original position. So now we have more light in it, and if I drag it down a little bit, I think this is also good, but I'll go for the brighter one. So I'll just double click on any of the slider and it's going to be on its default position, and that is the 0. Okay, so it works for all of these sliders. I hope you have already know about this. If you have not, go check out the previous lectures from my course Adobe Lightroom Masterclass. Okay, and if you press space, you can zoom in or zoom out to see the image closely. All right, so now let me bring it down and let's open up the shadows even further little bit and add little bit more white. So if I'll press Alt or Option, you will see that these blue dots are blue color. So this shows that wherever if we increase it too much, that's going to take away the detail from that area. Okay, so I'll keep it to something like this, and you can see the more I'll take it towards the right side, the white color is start to appear. That means we are going to introduce lots of highlights into that, and that's going to take away the details. We don't want that, so we'll go for something like this until we don't see this white color. Okay, and similarly, if you think it is too much, you can bring it down, and you can see the moment I bring it down, you will see now we get more details over here. So let me show you. If I drag it this side, you can see it becomes more brighter and takes away the details from here. So let me bring it down, maybe something like this. All right, and you can see now our image looks very flat. And then what we can do, we can introduce the black as well. So again, for the black as well, we can press Alt or Option and drag this slider, and you can see similarly for this one as well, the moment we'll drag it on the left side, you can see a black color starts to appear. So that means wherever we are going to take it, if wherever there is a black color, we are gonna lose the details from here. So we don't want to lose the details. So maybe something like this. I'll go for something like this, and that's just fine. You can see over here we have less details. So for that purpose, we can open up the shadows even further and add little bit more highlights. So now it looks much better, and we don't need that detail on this side. All right, so basically the face is important and the dress, and rest of these areas doesn't matter. And then we can adjust the vibrance. So I'll add little bit more vibrance to add little bit saturation. So vibrance is basically affects only the cooler side. Okay, and saturation affects the warmer tone. So I'll increase the warm tone a little bit so that this grass becomes more greener and the skin tone also becomes much richer. Okay, and then we'll come down on the bottom on this option lens correction. You can see, so I'll check this remove chromatic aberration. So what is chromatic aberration? Let me show you. You can see this green fringe over here, that is called the chromatic aberration, and this is mostly available in the zoom lens or in sometimes when there is a light problem. So we can easily fix this fringe by clicking on this icon, and you can see it has lightened this but not completely removed it. So for that purpose we can go for the manual option as well, and that is over here. So at this moment it was the automatic option, so we need to go into the manual option, and in the manual option you can see we have defringe option over here, and we have the color picker, so we can choose the fringe color. So at this moment it is a green, so I will click on this hand picker or the color picker tool and click on this red color, and the moment I'll take it, you can see it starts to show us the color. So which color is this? So I'll select this one, and you can see the moment I select it, it has already taken a good care of that. It has removed that color from this fringe or this fringe. Okay, so if I want, I can even adjust it a little bit more with the help of this option. So we can adjust this green hue, and you can see if I drag it towards the orange side, it's going to expand it. If I drag it down, it's going to take it away, and I can adjust the amount from here. So this is amount, so I can just see how much I want to remove and how much I don't want to remove. And this is a green hue, so I can adjust this as well. So with this slider I can expand its horizon so that it includes more of this color, and then it's going to remove it. Alright, you can see now we have successfully removed this purple or this green fringe from here. And if you want to see it, just click on this little button, and that turns off this lens correction option which we have just did. So if I just turn this off, you can see we are back with this fringe. Okay, and if I turn it back, so I need to click over here, and now this is gone. Okay, it has not completely removed it, but yes, it has done a pretty well job. Okay, so next we'll come back to the profile option, and over here I'm gonna check this enable profile correction. And what is basically going to do, it is going to remove any chromatic aberration or the lens problem or distortions and vignette effect around the image. So if I check it, you can see it has fixed that, and it automatically picks the camera make and then lens make and the profile. All right, and you can even adjust the distortion and the vignette with this slider. So if I click and drag, you can see I can adjust it as well, and I can adjust the vignette. I can add more vignette effect or I can remove it. All right, and if I just double click it, it goes back to its original position. I don't want to do this. I normally do this because I'm working on a raw image. So always work with the raw image and you will have the better controls while editing. Now let's come to the details panel, which is over here. You can see, so we have the option of sharpening and the noise reduction. So for the sharpening, will come down on the masking option, which is over here. So what we'll do, we'll press Alt or Option and drag it up until we see the mask, and now I'll drag it until I see the white color only on the edges. So that way it's going to sharp only the edges and not the entire image. All right, so this is a professional way of sharpening because we don't want to sharpen the skin too much. Okay, and then we can adjust the sharpening option or the slider. So if you want to sharpen it even further, you can do that as well. And don't touch the radius and details, it works with the default position best. And then we have the noise reduction. So if I increase it, you can see the skin becomes softer and it takes away the grain and the noise from the image. Okay, and then what we'll do, I'll come over here in the HSL panel, which is over here, and in the HSL panel, first of all, I'll go for the hue. So there is a hue option, so we can change the hue of any color. So let's come to the aqua option, green option, and drag it towards the yellow side so that it introduces some warmer tone in the green color. And let's adjust the aqua and blue. So you can add this cyan color as well if you want, but I don't want that. So I'll just double click it and bring it back. And you can adjust the yellow tone and the orange tone and the red tone according to your liking. So I'll go for something like this. Okay, and then come to the luminance panel, and in the luminance we can make the color lighter or the darker. So we have all these options, so we have all the colors. So I'll drag the red to make the skin brighter, and the yellow as well, and the orange as well, and the yellow as well. Okay, now we get some fair skin and it becomes more brighter. And then we can adjust the green hue. So I'm going to make the green darker and the aqua as well little bit darker, and blue, let's see. Okay, we don't want to touch the blue because we have the blue tint in the outfit as well, so we don't want to do that. So I'll just double click it and leave the blue as well, and let's drag it up to make it little more brighter. And similarly for the purple color if we want to, and magenta. Okay, we don't want to touch that because we have some in the skin. You can see if I make it darker how ugly it looks. So I'll double click it and it's going to be on its default position. All right, and then we'll come on the saturation option, which is over here, and in the saturation we can adjust the saturation of green. So let's increase the saturation of green and yellow a little bit, and aqua. Okay, or let's take it away, aqua and blue. Okay, so as you can see in the hairs we have the blue color or blue cast. So I'll bring it down something like this, and purple as well. Let's see. Okay, little bit purple, and now this one is looking much better. So if I just turn this on and off, you can see HSL color. Alright, so now we are done with the some basic adjustments. Now we are going to add some light or the warmer sunset sunlight in the image. So for that purpose we'll come over here. First of all, let's add some vignette effect around the image. So we'll come down on the effects panel, which is over here, effects, and here we have the post crop vignette option. So we'll click on this option amount and we'll drag it inside, so the corner gets darker and the focus remains on the subject. All right, so now let's add some light. So for that purpose we'll come on the top toolbar, and over here we have the graduated filter. You can press this option or you can press M on your keyboard, and it has all these bunch of options available. So I'll click and drag with my mouse to add or this gradient of something like this, and at the moment it's on. You can see temperature is blue, so if I just double click it, it is going to be on its default position. Okay, so I can increase it towards the yellow side, warmer side, to introduce the warmer tone in the image. And I can adjust the tint as well. So if I introduce the some red color, something like this, so that's going to be my sun's light or the sunset or sunrise light. You can see it has become little warmer, and increase the exposure so that this area becomes more lighter and brighter. So we are going to add more highlights in this. Let's increase the exposure a little bit even further, something like this, and we can adjust all of these options to get the look we want. And we'll bring down the clarity because we don't want the clarity. Dehaze option, okay, it's not working. And let's add saturation, something like this. Okay, and we can even click and drag to reposition it so that some little bit light is also cast on the face. Okay, and now let's create one more, and for that purpose I'll click here and drag it on this side, and that's going to introduce this same sunlight on the back side as well. But this is not looking good since this area is in the shadow, so it has to be darker. So for that purpose we'll bring the exposure down or to its default position, and we'll increase the contrast and remove the highlight. And let's adjust the shadows as well. So we can play with these settings to get the look we want. So I think this one is looking just fine, and if you want you can add a little bit on this side as well on the top. So let's create one more on this side, and let's bring down the contrast and exposure, something like this, and bring down the saturation and this tint and the temperature, something like this. Okay, and then if you are done, press done. Okay, and now this one is looking much better. So if you want to see the before and after, just press the backslash key on your keyboard, and that's going to show you the before, and if you press it again it's going to show you the after. And now we need to work on this image even further. So we'll come over here and select this radial blur or radial option. So we'll click on this radial filter and click and drag by pressing shift. If you want to create a perfect circle, press shift and drag it outside or inside to create a perfect circle. But if you don't want, just leave the shift and then you can create any kind of a shape you want. So in this case I want to create a shape of something like this so that it covers the model or the curve, and then I'll click on this little circle in the center and reposition it. So I can reposition it to anywhere, and I can click on any of these points and expand them. Okay, I'm going to expand this one as well. So that it spreads around the girl, And now we can adjust this. Again, we have the same options which we were having in the graduated filter. So I'll just double click it and bring it back, and now we are going to add the vignette effect around it. So I'll bring the exposure down, something like this, little bit. Okay, and press done. And I think this one is looking much better. So let me go back once again on the radial filter and click on this pin, little bit small pin, to select it, and now we can readjust it. So let me drag it something like this, and let's bring down the exposure even further and bring down the contrast. Okay, and then press done. And now you can see this one is looking much better. So let's see the before and after. So this is before and this is after. And now let's work on the eyes. So for this purpose, we'll come over here and select the adjustment brush. You can simply press K on your keyboard to have the access to this. And in this as well, we have all these options. Similarly, as we were having in the graduated filter and the radial filter. So I'll just double click it to bring it back to its default position. And if you click on this option of custom, these two small arrows, you will see some options over here. So if I want to work with the exposure, so I'll click on the exposure and it automatically just fixes that. And you can see it has selected -78 as the exposure, but I want the opposite of this. So let's see if I have some other option. So I think we don't have the option, so I need to fix this myself. So I'll drag the exposure, maybe something like this, because I want these eye catch to be brighter, and I'm going to make the size of the brush smaller. So I'll press the left bracket to make it smaller, and I'm going to paint on the eyes. So you can see the eye catch, so just paint over that. And that's going to make it brighter. And let's adjust its exposure. Let's see how it works. And the Lightroom is little bit slower in processing, so you might take a little bit time if you are working with the high resolution image like me and recording at the same time. So something like this, and I can increase its highlights and the contrast and the clarity, and let's increase the exposure even further. Alright, so now press done, and you can see now we have much brighter eyes. Okay, so and luckily we don't have any spot on the skin or on the face, otherwise we can use this spot removal tool to remove that spot, and I think this one is just fine. Let me show you the before and after. So this is before and this is after we have done this editing in Adobe Lightroom. If you want, you can take it to the Photoshop and work on the skin as well, but we have already got a smoother skin since children always have the smooth skin, so we don't need to work on that. So thank you so much. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. And if you want to completely learn the Adobe Lightroom, make sure you check out my premium course Adobe Lightroom Masterclass, and it has 4 hours plus content at this time. So if you are interested, go ahead and check this out. The discounted link is in the description, and go ahead, join it, and I keep on posting new content about this as well, so that would be included if you buy it right now, and that way you can support this channel as well. So thank you so much. Bye bye. See you in the next episode, and if you have not subscribed to this channel, please consider so. And to subscribe, just click the big red button below this video, and don't forget to smash the bell icon. That way you won't miss any video from this channel.